Hello, so good morning everybody. We're in August 2020. I think it's the 14th. So what we're going to do, you know those mornings when you wake up and you feel like you've got a crick in your neck or your neck feels tight and sore? So we're going to do this class aimed around easing neck discomfort. So in order to do that, you're going to need some cushions and some blocks, whatever you've got in the house. If you've got one of these bolsters, they're good, or if you've got a wobble cushion, that's good. So even if you might not have exactly what I'm using, you can kind of improvise. So what we're wanting to do is start off, we're going to put our shoulders and head on the mat, but everything else is getting raised. So we're going to make ourselves at an angle. So I'm going to use my bolster because it's jolly convenient. So if you start off with things near you, and then if you bring like a cushion or something, so you've then got your the back of your ribs are actually supported, and then you want to make sure that your bottom is actually higher. Yep, I thought you have everything nearby. Is higher, so that you're in a like a sloping position. You know, and your shoulders are well on the floor, and you make sure there's nothing under your head. So the head is nice and long, the neck is nice and long, and you've got kind of some space there. You should go along a bit. Okay. So take a bit of time to really tuck your shoulders under, and make sure that there's something that you've got something at the back of your ribs. That's important because what we're doing is thinking about letting the back ribs drop, descend down onto the support, and rolling our shoulders back and down. So get a little bit higher. Is that John there? No, that's Richard. Richard, get your bottom up a little bit higher. Okay, lovely. And then from there, we're just going to see if we can pin our shoulders and move them away from the ears. We're just going to take a moment to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. We have our knees bent, our feet parallel to each other and hip distance. So just watch that you're not pushing your rib cage up and forward, but rather let the rib cage move down towards this support that you hopefully managed to rig out somehow. I'm just going to move over a bit so I've got room for my hands. It's not ideal, this home studio lark, is it? So it is, I admit it is a bit of a faff getting yourself organised into these positions, but once you do, it really pays off because you've got a really opportunity to release tension in the shoulders and in the neck. So you want to feel really comfortable, your bottom's resting onto something which is a little bit higher than what you've got under your chest. So you're at a slope. Keep your shoulders tucking under. And then we can just take the arms out to the side. And we're going to just breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Taking the breath as you breathe in, take the breath in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. So that's the Ujjayi breath as we breathe in and out through the nose. We just imagine we're taking the breath in through the front of the throat and exhale. Imagine we're taking the breath out through the front of the throat. Really make sure that you can drop the back ribs down onto this support that you've got underneath you. Breathing. Now you may already find that quite alleviating. Is that a word? Relieving. Okay, we'll get there in the end. And this is what lockdown does, you forget your English. Okay, so you've got your arms bent. See if you can bring your elbows in line to your shoulders and just have your arms, your hands wherever they reach comfortably. Okay, check that your knees aren't going out to the side, but make sure that your knees are pointing up to the ceiling. If you find it's quite hard to get the knees up to the ceiling, you might want to just take your feet a little bit further apart so that you can keep your knees over your ankles. Okay, now as we exhale, just right arm only, we're going to just see if we can straighten that right arm. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Don't lift the shoulder closer to the ear, but just straighten the arm and then bring it back down to where it was. Exhale, straighten that left arm and then bring it down to where it was. Right arm and left arm. And then both arms. As you do that, see if you can think about pulling the pelvic floor in towards, and bend the arms again, exhale, straighten. Bend the arms again. Now you may find as you're doing that you're having to make a bit of a Y shape with your arms. And if you can, gradually bring your arms closer into a parallel position. But as you do that, you'll notice that you have to draw your belly, you have to draw your pelvic floor in and up. Keep these back ribs connecting. So you'll get a little scoop and hollow in the tummy area. So we're drawing that belly in towards the spine and up towards the diaphragm. And you may notice how the pelvic floor comes with it. So your pelvic basin's moving up towards the lower, the base of the spine. Exhale. So you're not just moving your arms, you're keeping your shoulders down, but you're activating your core. So you're getting that in, relax, in and up, relax, in and up, relax. Just check you've got that connection with the arms and the core. Lovely. And last one, release. Great. Okay, now from there, let's take our right leg and we're going to bring the right ankle above the hip and we're going to have the heel in line with the knee. Now, as soon as you do that, there might be a tendency to flare up the ribs. So keep these ribs dropping down. Actively drop the ribs down. And as you do that, you'll notice you really have to draw your belly in and up to hold this position. You can have the hands on the floor or just wherever you feel comfortable. Keeping the keep the back ribs connecting. Exhale. We're going to just straighten that leg. Inhale, come back. Straighten the leg. So you need to be feeling this in that lower abdomen, drawing it in and up. Really strong draw the belly in and up. Strongly draw the belly in and up. Keep the back ribs on the floor. Breathing. Breathing. This up the leg that's not moving, you need to keep that knee still. Keep that knee pointing up to the ceiling. Keep your shoulders tucking under. And last one. Lovely. And then down. Nice, Richard. Lovely. Yep. Okay, so again, let's now change sides. So we're going over to the left. So you might notice that you're listing to one side. So you need to check that your hips stay in the same plane. The back ribs pressing down and you're scooping, hollowing in the belly. Exhale, off we go. Left leg. This time keeping that right knee pointing up to the ceiling. Really scoop. Don't be in a rush. Keep the back ribs down. So we're straightening the leg on the exhalation, bringing it back on the inhalation. Keep that belly scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Lovely. And then release, bringing both feet down. Now, if you find that you have to concentrate quite a lot to do that, then we're going to repeat, starting with the right leg. For those of you that felt that that was fine and you could keep your belly drawing in and up and your core feels ready for it, we'll take it to the next level. So stay with level 1 if you need to, but level 2, we're taking both legs up. Now, you can try that and see, can I keep my belly scooped? If you find that your belly domes, then you need to go back to level 1. So if you can manage like this, then we're going to keep our belly scooping, hollowing, back ribs down, and off we go. Straight and back, change and back, change and back. Keep your scoop, keep your scoop. Keep the back ribs connecting. And then we can just alternate. So as you start to bring one leg back, you can start to send the other one away. If you're doing one leg, you can swap your leg now. Go to your left leg. Let's do 6 more. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Keep your scoop. 4, 4, 5, 5. Keep the back ribs down. 6, 6, and release. Lovely. And then you can just bring your knees towards your chest. Catch your breath. Okay, now holding one knee, bring the other one down and then bring the second one down. So let's take the arms out to the side and not too high. And then as you exhale, we're going to rotate the head to the left. See if you can push the left shoulder a little bit more on the floor. Press the left arm on the floor. Breathing. See if you can press the head onto the floor on the left-hand side. Keep your right shoulder down. Breathing. 2 more breaths. Lovely. And then looking up, we're going to rotate the head to the right. Pressing that right shoulder into the floor. See if you can press the head a bit more into the floor. Breathing. Lovely, and then release. Okay, now just bring the arms over the head, bring the knees up. See if you can bring the knees close into your body. And then those of you that can't stretch your legs up, see if you can get your feet to come over your face. Straighten the legs. Lovely. And then because you've got your bottom up, it'll help you to bring your feet over your face a little bit. If you need to, you can just do that with your knees bent. So you can prop your bottom up higher if you like. You find that quite hard. So the arms are over the head, relaxed. See if you can bring the tops of the thighs onto your belly. Okay, now push your bottom back down into your cushion And then at the same time now try and bring your feet closer to your face, but you're pushing your bottom down into the cushion so you feel it more strongly in the hamstrings. Breathing. Let's hold. Keep pushing the bottom down, straightening the legs, bringing the feet as close as you can towards the face. If you need to, you can have your knees bent, but keep pushing the bottom down and think about bringing your knees towards your chest and think about stretching your heels. Let's do 4 more breaths. Ujjayi, breath in through the nose, as if you were breathing in through the front of the throat and out through the nose. Lovely, and then let's bend the knees and we'll take one foot down and then the other foot down. And then we're just going to roll off our raise. Great. So hopefully you'll feel that upper chest is more open. So I'd like to do some kneeling now. So we're going to, since we've got all these cushions nearby, we're going to sit onto something and we want to have the feet hip distance. We want to have the feet at the side of our hips, so that when we take a fist, we've got space for between the hips and the knees. Now you may need to go up really high, so just take the height that you need. And I know that some people can use a small stool to sit on and put their feet behind. So get the height that you need so that your feet aren't in distress and that your knees feel comfortable. It's quite nice being quite high actually. Okay, and then if you've got your belt handy. So make sure that whatever position you're in, that you can sustain it and that you're not going to start to be uncomfortable after a short time. Okay. Right, so now we're going to just take our hands above our head, and you can, if you like, you can clasp your hands and just have them behind the head. But don't push your head forward with your hands. So if you find that you're pushing your head forward, then just put your fingertips on your head. So I don't want you to be doing this. So we've got our hands lightly, and then we're going to exhale, just lift that right shoulder up to the ceiling and just feel that stretch. In fact, if you like, you can just bring the left hand onto the floor and just do it one way. So we're letting that right elbow stretch to the ceiling, and also slightly take the right elbow back behind you. Breathing. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Yeah, you can have the hand behind your head, Rosie. Lovely, and then release. Okay, and now we'll take the left hand just behind the head, right hand on the floor, and just bring that elbow back behind you and see if you can send the elbow up to the ceiling, but also back. So you're getting that stretch on the left side, but you'll also get it in the neck. Okay, and release. Okay, ease out. Now, take the arms out to the side a little bit, and we're going to just do little shoulder rotations.
So I don't want you to lift the shoulders up, but we're looking more the shoulder blades. So we want to kind of, as if we're turning the shoulder blade. So obviously your shoulders come up a bit, but yeah, take it more into the shoulder blades, Victoria, if you can. Okay, and then change that rotation, change the circle. Yeah, good. One more, lovely. And then release. Okay, now we'll do the same stretch, but with the arms straight. So lift your right arm up. Send the arm to the ceiling, and then just go to wherever feels that you get a nice stretch all the way along the right side. You can start to bend the elbow on the left side if you want to get a little bit more stretch. Keep the arm working. Don't let the arm droop, Rosie. Keep the arm straight. Oh, nice. And then change side. Stretch the arm up. Get as much length. Keep your hip descending. Get as much length as you can. And then you can bend the elbow if you want to go lower. The supporting elbow, that's your right elbow. Send the hand away. Breathing. And keep going, lower if you can. Oh, good, and release. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but for me that stretch was in the lower waist. Okay, right, and let's take our belt now, and we're going to make a loop. You can see why I said get high enough, because we're going to hold this for a while. If you're feeling uncomfortable in this position, then just get up a little bit higher if you can put another cushion underneath. And so we're making a nice big loop, so we want it to be don't have it any closer than shoulder, but if you know that your shoulders are a bit stiff, it's better to have it further away. And then we're going to put the belt over our head. We can have our hands slightly coming forward to begin with. Push against the belt, drop the shoulders, push against the belt, and then if you feel okay with that, you can start to take the belt behind you. Now think about the back, think about your sit bones, let them descend, think about the back waist. So Ruth, bring your back waist back a little bit more so that you're not hollowing in the back, and rather you're going to feel that in the upper back. Push, push, push against your belt, take your thumbs back, watch that your sit bones are really settled down onto your whatever you're sitting on, and then release. Okay, now if you found when you did that you couldn't get your elbows straight, then just make your belt a little bit wider. So we want to have the belt as wide as we need so that it supports us. Because we use the belt to actually aid us. So again, take the arms over the head. Now think about your sit bones, let your sit bones descend. So we're not pulling up out of the cushion or the block, we're dropping our sit bones down into it. Pushing against the belt, elbows straight, straight elbows. So you've got your belt around just below the wrists. Drop your shoulders, let the sit bones descend. Take the fingers, take the thumbs back behind you if you can. Keep the back waist back, so we're not hollowing. We're going to feel that in the upper back. Let's hold for 4 more breaths if you can. Push against the belt, take the thumbs back, drop your shoulders, let your sit bones descend so you're not lifting up out of your cushion. 2 more breaths. Breathing, 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 and release. Yeah, very good. It's quite hard work, isn't it? I think you need a longer belt. I'm just going to show you what I would from the side, what I meant there. So what can happen is, if we're doing it, it's quite easy to just, can you see how I've hollowed my back? And then I can get my hands back and I think, well, great, my hands are back. But what I'm asking you, then I'm doing the bend from here, and that's where all the work's coming. And this is a common issue with people that are bendy in the lower back, is they take all the poses, they do all the poses from the lower back. And of course, after a while, your lower back starts to complain because it's doing too much work. So what I'm talking about is letting the sit bones descend and the back waist go back. So rather than pulling up, can you see when I do that, I'm pulling up out of my sit bones, I'm pulling away, I'm pulling up from the cushion. But rather you drop down into your cushion, take the back waist back, and then when you do it, can you see the completely different from that to that? And then I'm having to work now, as I do that, I'm having to work at the back of my shoulders. So let's just try it one more time. And bear in mind those points. So the back waist back, the sit bones descending, and pushing against your belt really gives you support. And then take the thumbs back. And now I can feel it in between my shoulder blades, just at the base, either side of my neck. Pushing the thumbs back, dropping the sit bones down. You'll really feel that active in the lower abdomen. Nice, Trish, lovely. And then release. Yeah, that's it, Ruth, beautiful. Good, okay. Right, so from there, if we can, we're going to free one leg. So if you're still okay to stay in this position, you can bring one leg forward. And we're going to use our belt just to loop around our belt. Similarly, we want to take the back waist back. Shoulders away from the ears. Okay. And now if your back feels a bit stressed, then you can lean back. So you want a straight spine. So lean back a little bit, Trish, so you open the chest. Lovely. Nice, that looks lovely. So that's fine just to stay with that. For some people that's enough, so much going on in the hamstring. And what you don't want to do is come forward if it means that you're hunching. So we want to keep our chest nice and open. So for some people that involves just leaning back. However, so stay with that if that's where you've got a nice, you're working nicely. For those of you that can come forward a bit more, you want to get the idea of folding your belly onto your thigh. And if you like, you can just lengthen forward. So that's giving you an extra stretch in the hamstring. Don't rush to do that if you find that where you were was giving you enough of a challenge. Breathing. You can always use something to land on if your head is nearly down. It's really nice to have something to put your head on. And not only are you softening your forehead down, you're also lengthening the crown of the head towards your foot. So your whole spine is lengthening along that right leg.
Let's do a couple more breaths. Nice, and then release. Okay, so we're going to switch legs now. So we take that first one back again. Yeah. If you have any knee issues, then just to get yourself a little bit higher, it's going to take pressure off the knees, so you can still do the poses without endangering your ligaments and so on. Okay, so we've got our left leg stretched out. So try and get our knees towards each other and stretching up, and then again sit bones down, back waist back, roll our shoulders back and down. And we can use our belt leaning back slightly if we need to do that to get our open back. Breathing. Beautiful, lovely. Nice, Victor. Okay, good. And then if you can stay with that if you're getting enough going on in your hamstring, just to keep breathing and softening into that. If you want to take it a little bit further, thinking about bringing the front of your tummy onto your thigh. And then just get a beginning of stretch, and you'll notice how that immediately takes more stretch into the hamstring. And then if you can, go a little bit forward. So try not to dive your head down, Trish. Just think about, rather than thinking about getting your head down, think about bringing your tummy forward. Just show that sideways. So what we're sitting up, once we start to go forward, we're hinging from the top of the leg. So you're thinking about bringing your tummy to fold it onto your thigh. So you're not thinking about diving the head. So it may be just to begin, that's better, Trish, nice. So it may be to begin with, you do this kind of pose, and you can feel that stretch in the hamstring. And then as you feel ready, you can go a little bit more. If you're nearly at your foot, it's quite nice to use something to put your forehead on. And then you're thinking about letting your forehead descend and let the crown of the head lengthen. So your spine is elongating. And we're breathing. Let's do a few more breaths, 4 more. Nice, and then coming up. Lovely, good. And then we can just stretch our legs out and just give them a little shake. Good. Okay, so sitting with both legs out, we can just hop up onto a raise, if that helps. And then we're going to just bring our right foot forward, so the right knee is pointing to the ceiling. So you don't need to have your foot all the way up or all the way in, but that's your kind of finished position.
that you can have your foot more to your knee and slightly out if you find that that gives you a better height through your spine, because then we're going to turn that into a rotation. So we're rolling from that left hip to the right hip, turning the tummy to face to the right. Keep our shoulders back and down. You can have something, a block or something behind you. Just get the height. Keep the neck nice and free. Now, if that feels okay, you can come in a bit tighter. You can hook your arm around your foot, and some of you I know can bend the elbow and start to slide it down the leg. Think about that corkscrew action. So as you turn, you also go higher. Your spine, you want your spine to move up towards the ceiling. And release. Okay, lovely. And then just ease out. And we'll go to the other side. So again, find the right position for your foot. If we start off with it a little further away and not all the way up to your hips, and then that knee points to the ceiling, lift and turn. So we're bringing that right hip now over towards the left hip. Shoulders rolling back and down. So you can start off nice and loose, so give yourself time to warm up, and then as you feel, if you want to, you can bring your heel closer into your body and also closer into your opposite leg, to your right leg. And some of you may be able to start to get your elbow down the other side of your knee. But again, keep the feeling of the spiral, so you're lovely. So your spine is lifting up, crown of the head is lengthening up to the ceiling. Breathing. Nice, and release. Yeah, good. Okay, and then from there, let's do our baddhakonasana. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Now, since we've got quite a few cushions nearby, we can put whatever we need underneath us so that our knees can be resting, or our legs can be resting onto something. And then just holding, push against your knees, see if you can get a little bit extra height through the spine. Really lovely, that's really nice, Ruth, yeah. And we're going to, as we exhale, think about allowing the knees to push into the cushion or the block, whatever we have. Push the soles of the feet in towards each other, and especially bring the inner side of the feet where your little toes are. Think about bringing those parts of the feet together so that your big toe joints start to move away. It's a bit like a book, you're opening a book, and as you can do that action, you'll notice that your knees then move more down. And also, you might notice that that gives you that sort of propels your spine up as well. So having the backs of the hands against, you can use the arms to help you, so you're slightly pushing into your knee to get that height. Keep the shoulders rolling back and down. And then we're going to use our belt to pull into our feet. So not everybody needs a belt. You can clasp your hands. Yeah, you don't need a belt. You can clasp your hands around your feet and lengthen up. So, but you want to keep your spine open. So from pubic bone to sternum is a long line. So once you catch your hand, you don't want to shorten the front of your body. Keep the front of the body really long. And if you find it, you need a belt in order to do that, then use your belt. Breathing. You notice as you push up with your hands on your feet, that gives you that also that downward movement of the knees. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to turn that into a twist. So if we just hold now with the left hand, and we're going to rotate to the right. Sit bones down, back waist back, turning that right shoulder, looking over your right shoulder. Breathing. Okay, lovely, and coming back. So if you're using the belt, you can just hold the belt with, this time, the right hand. And we're rotating to the left, or if you're using your hands on the feet, then just hold your feet. And we're rotating to the left. Keep the sit bones descending. Breathing. Lovely, and then back to center. Oh, lovely. Okay, so now we're going to see if we can get our forehead onto our knee. So we're turning turning our trunk so it's more in the direction of our right thigh, and then see if we can keep that left hip down. Let the forehead come towards the right knee. You might want to use something like a ball to land on. So you're keeping that left hip rooted. So you're turning from the top of the leg. And as I say, you can use something to land on if you find that the knee is quite far away. It's nice to have something to let your head drop down onto, not only to get the feeling of your forehead going down, but also to get a feeling of the crown of the head lengthening away. Nice. And then let's change side. Nice long, rotate our trunk to face the left leg. And this time we're keeping the right hip down. And we're aiming to bring the forehead to that left knee, using a little bit of height to begin with, activating our core.
And if you have got something to put your head on, that really helps because you get a feeling of lengthening away and also dropping down. And this right hip stays rooted. Breathing.
Nice, and then release. Yeah, lovely, Richard. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but for me, definitely I could feel stuff going on in the tops of the hips, so nice bit of releasing going on there. Okay, so let's just shake our legs out now. And we will head to the floor. Check you've got your belt. And if you need something under your head, we will do that. So if you've got something under your head, the idea is so that it helps to keep the neck long, and you don't put something under your shoulders, because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose of having that belt, having the head slightly raised. Okay, and then we'll bring our right ankle in front of our left knee, and let's catch. So we're taking the right hand in the gap and pulling the left knee towards us, or you can use your belt. Keep your bottom down, keep the lower spine, keep it down so we're not pulling up off the floor. The spine's moving that way down. And you can imagine it like thinking about your navel, you're moving your navel in the direction of the pubic bone. Breathing. Okay, let's change side. So we're bringing now the left ankle in front of the right knee. Take our left hand through the gap, and you can use our belt. If that helps. And again, tuck the shoulders under, nape of the neck long, bringing the navel in the direction of the pubic bone rather than the other way around. And that way you'll feel the stretch more into that left glute. Breathing. Tailbone dropping, squeeze that knee a little bit closer. Feel that little stretch in the left glute. Keep your breath soft, and as you exhale, breathe into, release and soften into that glute stretch.
Nice, and then release. Okay, and then we'll just cross the legs. Okay, let's do it this way. Left over right, and then we'll go over to the right. And then this is where you can land on your cushion or block. So we're keeping our left shoulder down, and then just look along the left. You can slightly stretch, so you're twisting, you're like wringing your spine. Don't let your ribs stick out, so we're keeping the ribs softened in neutral, so they're facing down towards your pelvic basin. And the back waist is going back. If you find that hard to do, just prop your knees up a little bit higher. And we're looking along the left hand. So really turn it into a wringing action. Actively turning, actively rotating to the left with your upper body as you rotate to the right with your legs and lower body. Nice, and then we'll do that to the other side. So if you unwind your legs, just have your block ready to go to the left. And then we're taking our right knee over left knee, and then we'll let the knees now go to the left, and we're rotating into the right shoulder. Gonna actively rotate, and then looking down that right hand at the same time. Squeezing, let your knees, you can use your hand, pushing your knees slightly down to the left, so it becomes more active, an active wringing of the spine. If you're very flexible, you may not need anything under your knees. You can get your knees all the way down, and you can also bring the knees higher up if you want. Breathing. So just notice where you feel any tightness. You may feel it in the hips, and use your breath. Inhale into wherever you feel tight. Exhale, soften. Inhale, push into where you feel tight. Exhale, soften. Great, and then release. Nice. Okay, so from there, we'll take that into our relaxation. So if you want to have your knees slightly raised, you can put something under your knees. A couple of cushions or a bolster is great, and then have something on your head if you like. So we're lying in a straight line. And tuck our shoulders under. So if you are using a bolster, what that does is it just helps to lengthen out your lower back. So it's good if you feel any lower back discomfort. And then just let your knees drop. You want to let your toes fall away from your heels. So we want to continue that feeling of freedom in the neck. So we're letting the nape of the neck be nice and long. Chin is coming towards the chest. And if you need to raise your head up in order to get that feeling, then just prop your head onto a cushion. Not too high, but just the right height for you. And then see if we can rotate so our shoulders are rolling back and down. We're turning the palms to face up to the ceiling. So make an active work of tucking the shoulders under. So your palms face up. And then we're just going to, once we've found our position now, just let everything go flopping.
becoming aware of our breath. And just noticing the rise and the fall of that belly as you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Using our breath as we breathe in to breathe into any areas of tightness. And as we exhale, just let that tightness melt into the mat. Just noticing any areas of tightness, breathing into those areas, and as you exhale, just let the tightness melt away into the floor. Leaving your body feeling nice and light. You might get a slightly floating feeling. Lovely. Very nice. And then just gently begin to bring your awareness back to your body lying on the mat. Just going to move our fingers and toes. Taking a deep breath, stretching the arms and legs. Just have a big stretch, and then we'll roll onto one side, so don't be in a rush to sit up. We'll just roll onto one side. Use a little cushion to support you. And then little by little, as you're ready, we can come back into sitting to finish together. So hopefully we'll be feeling a little freer in our neck, and it's quite interesting when you're working through your poses that you suddenly realize that one area is tight, which you might be feeling it tight here, and then suddenly you realize that this leg's tight, or so on. So stretching ourselves is a really nice way of rebalancing our body. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do that forward bend for you, Jacinta, but you can do that now yourself. Okay guys, so let's just finish together. Lovely straight back. And exhale. Okay. Thank you all.